are listening to Bras, Panties, and Sports. This is week 17 of the NFL is complete, and the final week of the regular season concludes this weekend. Then it's off to the playoffs. I'm spit-faced. I'm just so happy. Happy 2025, everyone. Please welcome our host, the First Lady of Sports Talk, Cheryl Smith, in her first appearance in 2025.
Happy New Year to everybody. Yes, we are in 2025. And, I'm looking forward to this year. I'm looking forward to this year. Can't get any worse than what 2024 was, right? It has, even though unfortunately it has gotten off to a horrible start, with the tragedy in New Orleans. I mean, that is just something that you just don't want to see. It's one of my favorite. It is my favorite city to go to. I've been to New Orleans so many times, and I just feel so sorry for that city.
Yeah, I do. It does cast a bit of a shadow, on the, kicking off the New Year's, and so we feel for those people there, and as McFadden and Whitehead would say, ain't nothing stopping us now. Ain't no stopping us now. We in a groove, and we gonna keep making a move. Those forces will not get to us. And, First Lady and I were talking a little bit offline about Saquon Barkley. There's, First Lady, I'm looking at it and I'm going, I would have loved for him to have broken the record. And I can get why they're saying, we're going to err on the side of caution. But it made me think about some of the, sometimes a record is a substitution for victory. I didn't get a Super Bowl ring, but I got this record. Okay. Until someone comes along and breaks your record.
Yeah, but I know, but that's a very long-standing record, though. That's the whole point. I don't think anybody's going to come along and break that record. That's almost like the Bob Beamon record. You remember when he did the triple jump? That was a long record that took forever to be broken. I mean, look what LeBron did with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's record. You thinking anybody's going to score that many points in the future? You got to play a long, many, many years. So the records are meant to be broken because they'll put you in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Well, but also I think the other part is that and this is great. I'm looking at Emmitt Smith and Walter Payton. Now, Walter Payton set the record not because he was trying to break a record. It just went that way. Emmitt Smith played more games, so it stretched it out when he really had passed that point where he was like really all that productive. But we're going to keep you around. And one of the things that Jim Brown said as Franco Harris and Walter Payton were getting close to breaking his record, he said, look, if Walter Payton breaks my record, I'm for it. If Franco, he goes, I don't get that because all you're doing is run out of bounds. Get 2 yards, run out of bounds. And, because he kind of reached that point in the career. So, but we could have a whole show on that one, First Lady. This is the 25, the producer saying, I didn't write that in the script. This week on Shout Out, we have performances from Eugene Williams. Will he find his shining star or get the cold feel of the move button? First Lady, we're ready. What you saying?
Each week we try to figure out what is going on in the sports world. Not the plays of the week, more like the players of the week. Are they trying to tell us something? So we ask, what you saying? Fly, little birdie, fly. Time keeps on slipping into the future. time keeps on slipping into the future. So I want to fly like an eagle to the sea. Fly like an eagle, let the spirit carry me. I want to fly right into the future. The little birdies known as the Oregon Ducks wish they could fly far, far, far away from a 41-21 drubbing by the Ohio State in the Rose Bowl. The Ducks were undefeated and looking at the possibility of winning the national championship. Ohio State came out the gate swinging and kept their foot on the necks of the once mighty Ducks. If Ohio State wins the national championship, does this mean the Ducks were pretenders? Marvelous Marvin Hagler, rest in peace, Bernard Hopkins, Roy Jones Jr., and the Steve Miller Band are asking what you say. Yeah, that was a beatdown, 41-21. I mean, for the Ohio State University to win that playoff semifinals. I mean, OSU was up 34-0 by the second quarter. I mean, there was no way they were going to turn this game, like the Ducks were going to turn this game around. So the question is, were the Ducks a pretender? No, I don't think they were. I don't think they were a pretender. You know, Oregon was coming off a Big Ten championship game where they put up 45 points against a good Penn State defense. They played Ohio State, 2 months ago, and they won an exciting game. So what happened to the Oregon Ducks? Well, let's just say Ohio State was able to have big plays against them. I mean, Ohio's first 4 touchdowns were 40 yards or more scores. So, I mean, that was deflating to the Ohio defense. I mean, this defense had been ranked number 15 in college football. So they were definitely a very good defense. But, I mean, with those big plays, I mean, they scored touchdowns 40 yards or more. I mean, that's very hard to come back by. And even though the Ducks were number 1 team the majority of the college season, and, they didn't look like they belonged in the same league as Ohio State. It was very shocking, to be honest with you. I mean, if you remember, Ohio State had lost 4 games against their rival, Michigan State, and the pundits and the fans, they wanted Ryan Day replaced. He was on the hot seat. And because that's a big thing, that rivalry between Ohio State and Michigan. I mean, it was a hard thing for Jim Harbaugh when he was there, because you remember his first 2 years, I believe, he never beat Ohio State, and then he was able to regroup and beat Ohio State. So it's a big thing, and if you can't beat one of those teams, that means you got to get out of here and then go. And that's what the fans wanted to replace him. But he was able to coach this team to a major upset, and you have to give him respect. But, spit-face, we got to look at the new 12-team championship playoff, because it's an issue. It's an issue right now, because guess what? The teams that had to play in the first round, in all 3 games so far, they have all 3 semifinal games so far, they have defeated the teams with the opening bye, the opening round bye. Is this a coincidence? No, it's not, because I'm telling you, when you have a layoff like that, that definitely is going to affect the teams, and it affected the Ducks, because that layoff is a big thing. I mean, if you look at the NCAA basketball tournament, there are no byes. If you remember, the number 1s play the lowest ranked teams in that first round. So, I mean, it's really prudent for the committee to review these rules. And, it's still on the table that they may be expanding to 14 teams. I don't know what they need to do, but what they need to do is expand. So they need to expand to make sure that everybody is playing on a level with the opening round. Now, I know the NFL does it the same way, but guess what? That's why you have a lot of wild card teams going to the Super Bowl too. So it's something about those first round buys that makes a big difference. And I think that really impacted the Oregon Ducks because they didn't really look sharp. And Ohio State being the fact that they had to play, they had to play in that first round, that really helped them, and it's helped all the other teams. Now, tonight we'll find out regarding Notre Dame and who's Notre Dame playing? I forgot who they play now. But
Georgia.
Georgia. Oh, Lord, I forgot Georgia. The Bulldogs. Right, so we'll see how that game goes because who had the opening bye? Georgia did, right? Yeah. I think Georgia had the bye.
Wait.
Georgia had the bye. So we'll see how this game turns out. And this one is going to be a little bit different, too, because of the fact of the incident that took place. The teams were geared up to play yesterday on New Year's Day. Unfortunately, because of the incident, it's been pushed back. But still, it's been pushed back. It's still the same situation. Georgia has the bye, and we'll see how Notre Dame does. So I really think I don't consider the Oregon Ducks to be a pretender. I just think because of those big plays and the way that bye, I think that hurt them. All right, Spitface. I just, it's just one of those things. So what are you saying about the Buckeyes?
I'm saying that the Buckeyes is some bad mamma jabbers. Whether they had a layoff, had to play, do whatever, they got their act together. And, it's interesting that during this playoffs, the Big Ten is, has kind of may have replaced the SEC. As far as competitive teams in the playoffs, because man, the Ohio State is still in it to win it. Penn State is still kicking around, and I think there's another team, right, that's still in it. Indiana, no, not Indiana, but we got but the Big Ten has put a nice formula together, and I think what's going. I don't think that that the Ducks were that the layoff really impacted them, and I think that's kind of convenient because it's like a boxer. You may have had a layoff, and you get in the ring, and when that first punch hits you in the face, you wake up real quick. Memory come right on back. Oh, I'm in a fight. Okay, and it's like it shake off real quick. I think really what happened was they, I think that maybe the Buckeyes overall may have had better talent, and that better talent shows up in the big moments, and I mean like team wise. Also, the Big Ten, you can't really say they go under the radar, but it's always sort of like they're like, yeah, y'all got Ohio State, Michigan, but really your conference is mediocre, even though they're not. Because the SEC was just so burning bright. Well, leagues change, mergers, the NIA, you name it, and right now, Big Ten peaking. So I'm just gonna say that the Ducks definitely laid an egg. And I go, Buckeye fans, I think y'all might be, you didn't get the Big Ten championship, but you might get the big one. That's what I'm saying, First Lady.
Well, yeah, so you don't think the layoff had anything to do with it. So, I mean, we'll see. I mean, if Georgia loses, then that would have meant that all four teams to buy lost. So I think that's not coincidental. But you never know. You never know. So, I mean, it depends, and I really think it has something to do with it. All right, Spitface, over to you.
Don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years, rocking my peers and putting suckers to bed, making the tears rain down like a monsoon. Listen to the bass go boom. Explosion, overpowering, over the competition, I'm towering. Wrecking shop when I drop these lyrics that'll make you call the cops. Don't you dare stare, you better move. Don't ever compare me to the rest that all get sliced the dice competition paying the price. I'm gonna knock you out, huh? Mama said knock you out, huh? We are talking about the knockout punch to the Houston Texans, losing at home to the Ravens, 31. First lady out, it's hard for me to say the score. 31-2. Not 3. Not even zip. 2. Houston, I think we got a problem. The Texans over the final weeks of the season have impressed no one, not even their fans. Are the Texans looking at being one and done in the playoffs? Leroy Satchel Paige, Walter Buck Leonard, and James Cool Papa Bell are asking, what you saying? First lady, my man C.J. Stroud, last year he was cool, confident, and collected. This year he looked discombobulated. And they have a saying that there's the sophomore slump. Like you really have a great rookie freshman campaign, and then you get in there, and then all of a sudden you just kind of room. And I think just a bevy of injuries to his wide receivers, and just some, it's always inopportune, but just they just got hit by that injury section, and then. I think it's sort of like Jalen Hurts kind of did. He had a just fantastic rookie season, and then he kind of stumbled around his sophomore a little bit. And then there was, he's gonna be, is he gonna be good? Is it, they're all, some folks, Philly fans can be so loyal, they're ready to kick the man to the curb because he's stumbling. So I think CJ got hit with a little bit of the sophomore slump combined with some injuries. And let us not forget, this is the coach's sophomore year. So this is just the staff and the team. Like, we had such great success, and now how we know about being the hunted, people trying to knock us out. We didn't know what this was like, and so I wouldn't be surprised if they lose their playoff game, mainly because they could end up, depending on how things turn out in the AFC North, they can be looking at the Ravens or the Steelers. Now, the Ravens, well, no, they ain't beating the Ravens. The Steelers, I don't know. They might be able to squeak out a win against the Steelers, and that's only because I think Mr. Wilson is starting to get cement feet. But other than that, Texan fans, we can root for them, but I think they're going to be one and done. First lady, the Texans need some help. Can they call up NASA? What you saying?
NASA, yeah, they need a lot of help. Well, the fans of Texas are upset with the way the team is playing. I mean, they haven't impressed no one within the last 4 games, especially after that beatdown from the Ravens on Christmas Day. It was horrible. But let's go back 2 years. If they have been good since the last game of that season with Lovie Smith. You remember when Lovie Smith won the last game, blowing their chances to get the number 1 pick? And at that time, people wanted to vilify Lovie Smith, and probably was the reason he was fired, to be honest with you. Because they had to draft C.J. Stroud instead of Bryce Young. Well, let's flip it. C.J. Stroud has been doing well, than Bryce Young in the rookie year. But now, Stroud seems to be in a sophomore slump this year. He definitely hasn't been the same. And guess who's peaking all of a sudden? Bryce Young. After all the many problems he's had in his rookie year, he seems to be much, much improved. But yet, I don't care. D'Amico Ryans has definitely brought the Texans to good performances, and their fortune has changed because guess what? For 2 straight years, they have won the AFC South Division championship. Well, we know. I'm going to praise them, but then I'm going to slap them because guess what? That's a bad division. But they've been good, though. I have to give the Texans credit. The Texans have turned around everything. And you have to also consider, like you said, they've struggled this year with injuries. The Texans are missing Stephon Diggs, Tank Dell, Jalen Petrie, and Jimmy Ward. All of them are on the injury reserves. That's a lot. They got players like Juice Scruggs, Shaq Mason, and Christian Harris. They're still kind of injured. And if you remember, Isaiah Alexander, I might be pronouncing his name right, was suspended for several games. So they have been playing not at full staff. So the reason why they haven't been playing those good games, for 4 straight games is kind of reasonable. When the Lions are injured and they was winning, we praised them, but lately, we don't even give them a chance anymore because of all the injuries they had. So you got to give a little grace to the Texans. But, I think the fans' expectation was a Super Bowl, but they need to temper their expectations, considering the state of the the status of the team right now. And to me, it depends what team shows up for the playoffs. If the team that's lost the past 4 games show up, then they're definitely going to be one and done. That is without a question. Now, if C.J. Stroud can somehow mimic his rookie year in the playoffs, I can see them winning their opening playoff round. But I don't see them going any further, to be honest with you. But I can see that they could win the opening first round because I got to see. I have to look at the seeding. We'll know definitely after Sunday what the seeding will be and who they have to play in the AFC West. In the AFC, there's a lot of good teams. Maybe I don't think they're going to get the Broncos. I'm quite sure. We have to look at the seeding. So I just think that this team, I'm not going to count them out, but they definitely got to do a major turnaround, Spitface, if they're going to win a playoff game. They don't got fans, the expectation for a Super Bowl is out the window, but they can win a playoff game, the opening round of the playoff game, and that's it. Actually, no, they get a bye. That's right, they get the bye. Because they won their division.
No, there's only one bye. That's KC.
Oh, that's KC. Okay, KC. Okay, there's only one bye. That's right. The one with the top record in the conference
record,
gets the bye. The best record. That's right. You're right. The best record gets the bye. Yes. All right. So anyway, I'll give them a chance to win the opening game if C.J. Stroud reverts back to his rookie year. So that's all I'm saying. Spitface. The way they seed it is that the teams that from the wild card pool, the teams with the best records have to play the division teams with the worst records.
So the Texans are going to have to play the top team, from the wild cards. So they rank them, they do a reverse.
But they don't go back.
Thing.
They don't go back and reseed it, though. They don't go back and reseed.
No. What happens is like let's say the Texans are the 4th seed, then they have to play the 5th seed.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
We have to look at that.
Yeah, they have to play the 5th, right, and go.
Yeah, because I think there's a controversy already because if I'm not mistaken, in the NFC, the team that won, I forgot which team won the division. It's going to be that the division that the Bucks are in. They're going to have a losing record, and one of those teams,
they have a winning record, but they have
Detroit,
Detroit and Green Bay are going to both have at least 14 wins.
And they got to go on the road.
Right, and they'd have to. Well, see, that's the thing. Like the Bucks have are the weakest division winner, so they got to play the toughest wild card team.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's sad that that winner with 14 got to go on the road.
Yeah, well, we've had that happen before, and it just happens. Where we've had the division, where we've had, it used to be before they expanded the wild card that, remember they didn't have wild card.
Right,
so
right.
You could have at all. That's why they added the wild card, because they said, hey, look, these teams got better records than the division winners. That's why they expanded the wild cards so that they could kind of bring, but either way, win your division. That's just how that goes. First Lady, you have the last word. Please take us to break. Did we lose you, First Lady? Or did you go mute? First Lady?
I'm here.
Okay, now I can hear you.
I know. See, the technology is. I wasn't muted. The technology is a little bit of the problem. But anyway, let's hear the. It was just a little bit of technology problem. So stay tuned. Coming up next, we have a performance from Eugene Williams on Shout Out Part 1.
The music flows in from around the globe to get a shout-out from the panel. First Lady, I can't wait to hear the music from Eugene Williams.
On Shout Out, we feature new independent artists who are looking to find their shining star. If we like what we hear, we'll give the track a shout-out. If we don't like it, we hit the mute. On the first part, they say Eugene represents the developing generation of great singers, songwriters, performers, and entertainers. Let's hear the first track from his hit album. Okay, we got a Christmas song, Chestnuts Roasting. probably everybody's favorite song. And I failed to mention that Eugene Williams is out of New York City, and that track, Chestnut Roasting, was from his hit album, holiday album, Christmas with Friends and Family. So I'm going to shout it out. I thought it was beautiful. It was to get people, I guess Mr. Williams plays the guitar, and he was right on point there with that guitar, playing that song, Chestnuts Roasting. Very nice, jazzy version with the guitar. So I'm definitely going to shout it out. I'll shout it out. Spitface, is Chestnut Roasting getting a shout, or are you going to hit the mute button?
I want some chestnuts. I want some roasted chestnuts. I'm jealous. First Lady, I'm giving it a shout out, and I know it's after Christmas, but folks sent in music, so we trying to, we couldn't line up with the holiday. We only got one show a week, so we get a bunch in. We just can't play them all, but I like this. I'm shouting my man out. I was ready to call up George Benson and say, man, check him out.
Okay. Well, that's 2 shout outs. So that's great. Now on part 2 of shout out, we'll be featuring another performance from Mr. Eugene Williams out of New York City. Now this person, he's really a thing, but he's right out of Miami, Florida. Is that the sound of my favorite underwater friend? It's time for Flip It.
Know what you see is wiser than me. Women live in a world of wonder, lying there under under the sea.
Time for Flip It, while hosts defend the point and then flip the script and defend the opposing view. Lamar or Josh for MVP? Who should win it? Defend. Lamar has better overall stats than Josh. He should win the MVP. First Lady, since the MVP is really the most valuable quarterback, and as much as I like Josh, Lamar does have better stats, which means you are the better quarterback. And if it was the MVP after the Super Bowl, now that might be a different discussion, because there is the MVP of the Super Bowl. And I think this, in bringing this up, the MVP of the Super Bowl does not necessarily go to a quarterback. It really is about who the MVP was for that game. And it's been defensive players, it's been running backs, it's been wide receivers, it's been, sure, there's been a ton of quarterbacks, but other players beyond the quarterback, it's not uncommon. Now, the MVP race during the regular season, really comes down to who was the best quarterback. Now, I know that there are people who think that, look, Lamar has gotten 2 MVPs, it's Josh's time. Wait, this ain't the debate team. This is supposed to be about records and how you played. And if the MVP is the most valuable quarterback, sorry, Josh, you had a great season. You've been playing out your mind. But hey, I can, if it's not going to be about the stats, I kind of think that guy for Cincinnati who got that team on fire, is kind of, he should be. So it'll go on and on. It is not about that it's Josh's time to win the MVP. It's that Lamar has the better stats. First Lady, defend.
Goodness, my goodness. I mean, it always comes down to this situation. What does the MVP stand for? You say it's a quarterback award. It shouldn't be a quarterback award. That's the problem. It's been too much of a quarterback award. Most valuable player to me stands for who is the best player that is most valuable to their team. Meaning, if you took that person off the team, how would the team be? Or how would the team fare? That's what I'm talking about. So, again, if you take Josh Allen off the team and put another quarterback in, I don't know how the team would do. Same thing with Lamar. So you take him off the team, how would his team do? So then you got to come back to who has had the better season statistically. And that would be Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson has already won 2 Most Valuable Players awards in his short years in the NFL. But guess what? This has been his best year ever. So if this is his best year ever and he's already won 2 MVPs, don't you think he should win the MVP this time around? I mean, to me, there's no debate. Because, like I said, both of them are very valuable to their teams, but Lamar statistically is doing much better than Josh Allen. Now, yeah, you brought up Burrows, but let's face it, they're trying to get into the darn playoffs. So you have to factor in the team's success. So even though he's having a great year, the team is not successful. So therefore, he's not valuable to that team. Okay? That's how I'm looking at it. So no, it has to definitely go to Lamar because he has the best overall stats. And yes, even though both are valuable to their teams, when it's tied like that, then you really have to look at the stats, and that's why it needs to go to Lamar.
All right. Now we're going to flip the script, and let's do that. Let's flip it. Defend. Josh has won more games than Lamar, and his stats are off the chart. He has been the most valuable player. And First Lady, as much as I love Lamar and as much as the MVP has turned into the best quarterback, it's not the best quarterback stats. It's the most valuable quarterback to their team in the league. And Lamar has had some really great help having Derrick Henry on the team. Which is not Lamar's fault that, hey, I got this great running back now. All that did was cut down on Lamar's running, but his passing has still been off the hook. But Josh, on a different kind of team, dealing with, I'll say, I won't say tougher competition, but the competitiveness and the games that Buffalo has had to deal with might lean a little bit more strength of schedule to them. And Josh has his team not only winning, they have a better record. And they've already clinched their division. So his value has gotten them to where if it wasn't for KC, they might have had the one bye week. So Josh's overall play and the fact that his team has the better record edges out the stats. Because if I can have great stats by doing a Tony Romo, get great stats, don't win nothing. And got great stats, got record stats for the Cowboys. Didn't win a damn thing, and then lost all the big games. Well, but the Cowboys are a different story. So we have to look at what they did with their team, and right now, Josh has put his team in a position to compete with the Super Bowl champs and get to the big dance. Lamar, even with a great running back, they still battling to see where they're going to end up. So, edge goes to Josh. First Lady, defend.
Well, Allen's statistics are just as good as Lamar. I mean, I know Lamar has a little bit better, but Allen has 3,731 passing yards. He's actually, he's 28 touchdown passes. He's rushed for 531 yards, and with 12 touchdowns on the ground for that. So he's had an MVP caliber season. Now, again, like you said, Spitface, Lamar has more weapons on his team than Josh Allen. So even though, they have the same level of value to the team, but really, I don't even think that the Bills would even be a playoff team if Allen was not on that team. I mean, he has done more with less, as far as I'm concerned, because everybody didn't even pick the Bills to win their division, and because when they lost their Stephon Diggs, and then they also, I think, was a running back left. I mean, they really do not have superstars on that team, or what I would consider great playmakers. So Josh has done a lot with less. So I think, given the fact that his stats are comparable, of course Lamar's stats are a little bit better, but Josh's is comparable. But I think because of the way he plays and the fact that he doesn't have that much help, you have to consider he is the most valuable player in the league because he still got the stats and then the wins. Like you said, this is the fifth straight season that they've won the division title. Fifth straight season. I know it's not a historical what you've done historically that counts, but nobody picked the Bills to win their division this year. Nobody did. Okay, none of the pundits did. So that tells you, and that speaks volumes of how great of a season Josh has had, and you have to give him the most valuable player. And I know this is a tough decision because like I said, we said Lamar is having his best statistical season, but I think if you put a reputable quarterback there, I think they still would make the playoffs, but not in the Bills situation. They would not make the playoffs. They're making the playoff because of Josh Allen. So he definitely should get the most valuable player award.
All right, First Lady. And now I'm going to tell you, my real most valuable player is my man down in Tampa Bay. Go Baker. Go Baker. All right,
Baker's having a great year, too. Yes, he is. I mean, he's having a great year. And Sam Darnold is, too. I mean, there's a lot of quarterbacks that really are having a great year. I mean, who would have thought the Vikings would be where they are? A chance to win their division. Yeah, so anyway, I mean, they really need to decline. I mean, I know we did that before. We need to have some separate awards. I think they do need to distinguish these awards. But anyway.
All right, First Lady, over to you for more flipping.
Okay, here goes another debate. Shedeur Sanders and Cam Ward are the top quarterbacks in the draft. We wonder who should go first. Spitface defends. Shedeur will bring excitement to any franchise. He will be the first one chosen.
Cam Newton?
Don't you talk about my Miami Hurricanes that way.
I like Cam. I like Cam. And wow, Cam Ward. If I'll just say that if Shador was not in the draft, the consensus would be Cam Ward. Get him. And a lot of folks say that his body of work is better than the body of work of Shador, and he's like a no-brainer as the number one pick. But it ain't all on the quarterback. It really ain't. And it can be all on the quarterback. And if it's going to be all on the quarterback, I'll put it like this. You want prime time. Cam Ward is you can't go wrong on paper with either one, Shador or Cam. But when you got the chance to have prime time, because either Cam and Shador are going to go to teams that have lousy records. So they're going to go to lousy teams. Who is going to put fans in the seats, eyeballs on the television broadcast, Cam or Shador? Now, who knows how their careers will end up developing? But eyes is going to be on Primetime Junior, Shador Sanders. And don't let the Raiders move up in the draft to get him as the first quarterback, because I think First Lady into an inside track on something. Where goes Shador, Dion will follow. That's all I'm saying, First Lady.
All right. Well, Shador Sanders definitely has lived the life of a quarterback. He had his father there, who was a great professional football player and played baseball. So Shador has always been in the spotlight. And usually being the number one pick, you have to have that mentality to be in the spotlight and to be able to handle that spotlight. So, like you said, both of them are going to be good quarterbacks in the league. I'm not sure if they're going to come in and be able to do it right away. So usually when they're going to go to the worst team in the league. So Shador, he's been with his father all along, Jackson State all the way to Colorado. He really didn't have the weapons that Cam had. With except for Travis Hunter, that was it. That was the only weapon he had. Shador had really was Travis Hunter, whereas Cam did have a lot of different weapons on his team. But you can say Shador is. I think I did say that wherever Shador goes, that's where prime time is going to go. But he said he's going to stay in Colorado. So Shador is going to be out there on his own, and his record needs to speak for himself, and without his father. And I think Shador is just an exciting type of quarterback. He'll remind you a little bit of Lamar, but I think he has a better arm than Lamar does. And I think Shador will be the number one pick, because most teams that are at that bottom, they need an exciting quarterback, franchise quarterback, and somebody who can fill the seat up and give them hope. And I think Shador Sanders can do all of that. He can bring excitement. He's a good quarterback, and he can fill those seats up. And that's what they need. And I think Shador Sanders should be the number one pick, and he will be the number one pick. Let's flip it, spit face to Finn. Shador may have the glamour, but Cam Ward has the stats, and he should go first.
First Lady, there's what they call the body of work, and Cam has the body. Now, can't, put down any of Shador's accomplishments. The only reason probably that Shador doesn't have the Heisman is that his teammate got it. So he missed out on that one. But the question is, Shador, how will he operate with a coach or organization not ran by his dad? So this is going to be Shador's first time with someone who ain't daddy. And that doesn't mean he was coddled or he, all that. But what it means is that now you're going to have to work with something new. And he hasn't had that experience. The way that Coach Sanders would have done something may not be the way that some other coach does things. They have their own philosophy, how they want to do. And sometimes that culture shock can be demoralizing, especially on a team that probably is not a good team. And Shador hasn't dealt with that kind of situation. Now, Cam has had to come the more traditional route. So, he had to deal with what was handed to him, and he's been successful. Chances are he's more adaptable to whatever team he goes to, and that is going to be a key component. Wherever Shador goes, there's going to be a looking over the shoulder. Will the team try to go get daddy? Because we know how that combination works. That combination was a winning combination, and if we can get a Hall of Famer who everybody want to play for as our head coach, whatever team Shador goes to, that's got to be in the background somewhere. So Cam has the stats, all the pundits, and he's the Caleb Williams of this draft. Unfortunately, he may go to a bad team, but it won't be the Bears. And with a bad coach, Cam Ward should go first. That's what I'm saying, personally.
All right, Space. I'm saying, and you didn't say it, but I'm going to say it. Yes, Shador Sanders was coddled by his father. He was coddled by his father. He was when he was at Jackson State, and then he brought him over to Colorado with him. So you're correct in saying that that's all he knows is his father. He's never had another coach except for obviously when he was in his high school. And if I'm not mistaken, he wasn't coached by Primetime in high school. Well, was he? Because Primetime used to have a league, if I remember. So who knows? That's been his coach for years. So that's all he knows is Primetime. So it is going to be a major adjustment for Shador to go to an NFL team and be coached by someone else, So that's going to be extremely rough for him, whereas Cam, believe it or not, Cam is already with his third team in 5 years. He's been on 3 different teams. I don't know if you knew that. And he came to 1-year deal to Miami because they obviously offered him the highest NIL money, and that's why he went there. But he turned that team around. Cam Ward is more of the typical quarterback than Shador Sanders. Cam Ward's arm strength is much better than Shador Sanders. So, look what he's done. They had the second best offense in the league, in the whole college arena. That was Cam's offense. The only one team that had a better offense was Oh, Lord, that was the team that beat them, too. I can't remember the team name right now. But the team that they just lost to, reason why they didn't get into the championship games because of that team. But anyway, they had the better offense. Miami was ranked number 2. So when it comes to arm strength, to me, the protege quarterback, he'll stay in the pocket longer than Shedeur does. His ability, to me, he's a little bit, I'm going to say he's a little bit tough-minded, more so than Shedeur Sanders, because of the fact that he's been to 3 different teams. He had to adjust to 3 different coaching styles. He had to adjust to three different offenses. So I think he's more equipped to enter as the number 1 pick in the NFL than Shedeur Sanders, because of the fact that Shedeur has been coddled by Prime. So I mean that makes a big thing. And over the years, Ward, in those 5 years that he was in the college arena, he's improved each year. Now, some people will say that Shedeur did take a backseat this year because, like you said, he had Travis Hunter. Travis Hunter was the Heisman Trophy. Shedeur was in contention last year for the Heisman Trophy. And, he had a spectacular season the year before. This year, he really didn't have a spectacular season. So going into the draft, you have to go with Cam, because Cam has definitely had the better season statistically leading into the NFL draft. So with that being said, yes, I mean, definitely Cam Ward deserves to be the number 1. And depending on who gets the number 1 pick, because I don't think the Giants right now, after winning last week, they're no longer in contention to have the number 1 pick. I guess they think they're going to try to do the same thing with the Texans did. Maybe they're afraid to pick the number 1. It makes you wonder. But anyway, they shouldn't be afraid. It should be Cam Ward, because Cam is the best, the very, very best at this point in time. I would definitely pick him. But anyway, all right, Spitface, please take us to break.
On the other side of the break, we have another performance from Eugene Williams. On Shout Out Part 2, please keep your ears glued to those speakers.
Welcome back. The music flows from around the globe to get a shout-out from the crew. Spitface, over to you.
All right, on the second part of Shout Out, we are featuring more music from Eugene Williams in our final holiday song of the season. Let's hear Silent Night with a Groove. Silent Night with a Groove. Let's hear it. All right. Our final holiday song to end the season. And First Lady, what's the verdict? Is Silent Night with a Groove getting a shout out or the mute button? I think the technology is acting up again. First Lady, are you muted?
Yeah, the technology is acting up. Anyway, can you hear? I'm going to give it a shout out. I'm going to shout out as loud as I can. I'm going to shout out.
All right, First Lady giving it a shout out. I'm giving the track a shout out. I actually like the first track a little bit better, but I'm still giving my man a shout out. That is the end of shout out. You can check out Eugene Williams at Eugene Janae, and that's Eugene, and Janae is GENAY.com, and the Old Grumpy Radio Network. If you would like to be heard or have any comments, please send your emails and tracks to talent@oldgrumpyradio.com. First Lady, over to you.
All right, it is time for the picks. We're in the final weeks. The final week. We are in week 18 of the 2024-2025 season. So let's go to our Saturday gotcha game, which is worth 250 million points. Actually, no. You know what? What's wrong with me? I'm so sorry. I have the results from last couple of weeks. I'm so used to the production assistants with a holiday code. They kind of slip a little bit, but they were able to get the results for week 16. So for week 16, Dizzy Mac led with 500 million points. Spitface came in second with 200 million. And for the first time in a long time, I had a negative 500 million points. All right. Week 17, Spitface, you led with 1,050 million points. I came in second with 950 million points. And Dizzy Mac was with third with 350 million points. So where do we stand through week 17? It's gotten closer. No, it's gotten a lot closer. I was leading for a good little bit, a lot of distance. Not anymore. I'm still ahead with 2,873 million points, but right on my tail is Spitface with 2,423 million points, and Dizzy Mac is bringing up the rear with 1,533 million points. So we're moving on, but the race has gotten tighter. All right, so let's get to the current picks. And the current picks are, as I said earlier, we got the Saturday gotcha game, the Bengals versus the Steelers. Oh, my goodness. The Steelers, they've lost, 3 games in a row? 3 to 4 games in a row. I'm not sure, but they've lost 3 to 4 games in a row. So I'm going to, and the Bengals still need to win, but I'm going to go with the Steelers. Dizzy Mac has the Steelers. Spitface, who do you have? Okay. We seem to have lost Spitface.
No, I'm sorry about that. We had, I was saying the trend is, the trend is your friend. And the Steelers have been trending down and the Bengals have been trending up. I'm going to roll with the Bengals.
All right, you're going to roll with the Bengals. Okay. The Steelers still playing for something, right?
Well, the Steelers are playing for the division.
Exactly. Yeah, they're playing for the division.
But I think that Russell, he still has the arm, but he don't have the feet. He has slowed down, All right. And as far, and because he don't escape like he used to.
All right. So let's move along. We are on the winners and the losers. These are the Sunday games, and this is worth 100 million points. The Commanders versus the Cowboys. Now, I don't know why we got that. I don't know why don't know why the producers decided to do this game. Because this game don't mean anything, right?
Hey, it is the Cowboys.
Oh, okay. See, yeah. Who cares about the Cowboys? The Cowboys are, and the Commanders can't go any more higher than where they are, as far as I remember. So anyway, they made it to the playoffs. But anyway, so Dizzy Mac chose the Commanders. Face, who are you choosing?
The McCarthy has nothing to lose, so he's gonna play to win. The Commanders have the Commanders really need to play, but I'm gonna roll with the Cowboys.
Oh, okay. I'm trying to remember. I don't think the Commanders have anything to play for. They already made it to their game. It was the last week game to make it into the playoffs. I mean, can they do a higher seeding? That I don't right now. I don't know, and I don't even know if they're going to play their people. Is Jalen Daniels playing? I don't know. So I should have researched.
I'm pretty sure they'll be in, but we shall see.
See, I need to know now.
Okay.
Anyway,
well, we can move on to the next game while you research it.
I'm going to go with the Commanders. I'm moving with the Commanders. I mean, I have a feeling I may be wrong about this because, but I don't know if they're going to be playing their people. Anyway, all right. Well, a team that I know won't be playing anybody is the Chiefs versus the Broncos. Well, we already know Patrick Mahomes is not playing. I don't even know if Travis Kelce is probably not playing either. None of the star people are playing for the Chiefs. So so Spitface, who you going with? Is your turn. Who you going with?
I'm going with the Chiefs.
You still going with the Chiefs?
I'm going with the Chiefs. All
right, well, I'm going with the Broncos because the Broncos needed more than the Chiefs needed. I mean, I know the Dolphins hope the Chiefs will win, but the Broncos, they need it. They're going to have, I mean, I know people are going to play who haven't played. I mean, let's look at Carson Wentz. I mean, I know Carson needs to try to see if he can do better because his career is 1 foot out of the NFL. So maybe he can pull the Chiefs. But now I'm going to go with those Broncos. All right, the Seahawks versus the Rams. This is another game that has no bearings, right? The Seahawks are not winning anything. The Rams won last week. So I don't know who's going to be playing in this game. Right, maybe that's the strategy of the producers. Okay. All right, the Seahawks versus the Rams. Ooh, I'm going to go with the Rams. I don't think that what's his name is playing. Dizzy Mac has the Seahawks. Who do you have, Spitface?
Oh, I'm going with the Rams.
Okay. All right. Now, the game of all games. This is the game. Now, this game is the big one. And they got it on Sunday night, so all eyes will be watching. Now, did they flex? I wonder if they flexed this game to Sunday night, or this game was always going to be on the schedule for Sunday night.
It was flexed. They flexed the whole schedule.
I thought it was flexed because this game is the meeting right now. Whoever wins this game wins the division. The Vikings versus the Lions, and I am going with the Vikings. Dizzy Mac has the Lions. I'm rolling with the road team. Because the Lions are hurt. All right, Spitface, who do you have?
Oh, man, I'm looking for my coin so I can just do a flip. Because whoever loses is now the 5th seed.
Exactly.
The Vikings playing the Dome, the Lions playing the Dome. So it's like, hey, they used to playing in that environment. I'm going to roll with the Lions. I'm going to go with the home team.
So you say you're going with the home team, the Lions?
Yeah, I'm going to roll with the Lions. But they at home, even though they've had injuries, they really, they keep winning. So I'm going to roll with them.
You're going to roll with the Lions. All right. So this is going to come down to, we still got other games ahead of us. We got the playoffs and we got the Super Bowl. But as everybody else's race gets tight, our race, too, is very tight. So it will be quite interesting. So this will have some bearing on it. All right. We'll see how we do next week. All right. And, we'll see how we do. All right. It's time for the top story to watch this week. Spitface, what you pick it as your top story?
Who gets the final playoff spots?
Mm-hmm. Well, that's not my top story. My top story, which coaches are going to be fired? Is McCarthy going to keep his job? Because Monday morning, they will be firing people left and right. Because remember, there's no Monday Night Football anymore. Everything ends on Sunday. So what do they usually call Monday, the day after the season? Dead coach walking? No, there's another name for it.
Yeah, they have, I can't think of it at the moment, but yeah.
There's
coaches
another
will be
name
walking
for
the
it.
plank.
There's another name for it. So we will see what it will be. I mean, I really think if the Dallas Cowboys, a feeling tells me that they will fire him, but it's like 50-50 right now, so, but we will see, because, who's going to go to the Cowboys? Who could go to Dallas? Anyway. All right, check out our current and previous episodes at braspantiesandsports.com and our Facebook page, BPN Sports. This is Cheryl Smith, the First Lady of Sports Talk, and Spitface. You have been listening to Bras, Panties, and Sports. Happy New Year's to everybody. See you next week.